In a distant galaxy, a human spaceship named the Endeavor drifted quietly through the stars. Its crew, a brave group of explorers, was on a mission to discover new worlds. Captain James Carter stood at the bridge looking at the star maps. They were searching for life on other planets, and he hoped to find something amazing. One day, as they traveled through a bright nebula, the ship's sensors picked up signals from a nearby planet. The crew was excited. "What could it be?" asked First Officer Sarah. The signals were faint but steady, like a heartbeat. Captain Carter decided to investigate. He ordered the ship to change course and head toward the planet. As they approached, they could see a beautiful blue-green world covered in lush forests and sparkling rivers. But when they landed, they found the planet was not as peaceful as it looked. The environment was harsh and large predators roamed the land. The crew stepped out of the ship and carefully explored the surroundings. They were amazed by the strange plants and creatures. After a while, they stumbled upon a small village. As they entered, they noticed the inhabitants were small and timid. These creatures were the Weldons, with delicate bodies and large, expressive eyes. They looked frightened and unsure. Captain Carter felt a wave of sympathy wash over him. The Weldons seemed weak compared to the towering predators outside their village. The crew tried to communicate with the Weldons using gestures and drawings. They showed them they meant no harm. Slowly, the Weldons began to trust the humans. One brave Weldon named Luna stepped forward. She was curious and wanted to understand these newcomers. Captain Carter knelt down, smiling gently. "We're here to help," he said softly. Luna looked into Captain Carter's eyes, sensing his kindness. She nodded slowly. The other Weldons watched with cautious hope. Over the next few days, the humans worked to build a relationship with the Weldons. They shared food and stories, using simple drawings to bridge the gap between their languages. As the humans spent more time with the Weldons, they learned about their struggles. The Weldons lived in constant fear of the predators that roamed the forests. They had no weapons or tools to defend themselves. Instead, they relied on hiding and running away. Captain Carter knew he couldn't let this continue. "Let's help them," he said to his crew one evening around the campfire. The stars twinkled above them, and the fire crackled. "We can share our technology and knowledge. They have potential. We can transform them into something strong." The crew agreed, excited at the thought of helping the Weldons become warriors. The next day, the humans began their plan. They set up training sessions to teach the Weldons basic fighting skills and tactics. At first, the Weldons were hesitant, but with each lesson, they grew more confident. The humans showed them how to use simple tools to protect themselves. They crafted weapons from the natural resources around them, teaching the Weldons how to defend their village. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between the humans and Weldons deepened. The humans learned to appreciate the Weldons' unique abilities. Though small, the Weldons were agile and clever. They could navigate the dense forest with ease, making them excellent scouts. Captain Carter saw their potential and encouraged them to embrace it. As the Weldons trained, they started to change. They became stronger, faster, and more skilled. Their fear began to fade, replaced by determination and hope. Captain Carter watched with pride as Luna and her friends transformed from frightened beings into confident warriors. One evening, as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, the Weldons gathered around the campfire with the humans. They shared stories and laughter, feeling like a family. Captain Carter felt a sense of joy and accomplishment. They were not just helping the Weldons, they were building a community. The humans realized that embracing this weak species had unlocked something extraordinary. Together, they were ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. Little did they know, a dark threat was approaching, but for now, they were united in their quest for strength and survival. In the heart of the galaxy, a new alliance was forming, one that would change the fate of the Weldons and the humans forever. As the sun rose over the lush green forests of the Weldons' home planet, excitement filled the air. The humans and Weldons gathered at their training ground, a flat area surrounded by tall trees. Captain Carter stood in front of the group, ready to begin their first day of serious training. "Today is the start of something great," he announced, his voice full of enthusiasm. The Weldons, with their large eyes shining with curiosity, looked up at him, eager to learn. Luna, the brave Weldon who had first approached the humans, stood proudly among her friends. First Officer Sarah joined Captain Carter, holding a wooden stick. "We will start with basic combat skills," she explained. This will help you defend yourselves against predators. Remember, it's not just about strength, it's about strategy and teamwork. The Weldons nodded, their expressions serious as they listened. The humans demonstrated simple movements. They showed the Weldons how to hold the sticks like weapons, practicing swings and blocks. At first, the Weldons struggled. Their small hands fumbled with the sticks, and they stumbled as they tried to mimic the humans' movements. But the humans encouraged them, showing patience and understanding. "Don't be afraid! You're stronger than you think!" Captain Carter shouted, cheering them on. With each attempt, the Weldons grew more confident. They began to laugh at their mistakes, enjoying the process of learning. Luna stood out. She was quick to grasp the techniques, moving with grace and determination. As the days went by, the training intensified. The humans taught the Weldons how to work together as a team. They practiced forming lines and creating strategies to defend their village. The Weldons learned to communicate with each other during training, using gestures and sounds. They developed a special way of speaking that mixed their language with simple human words. One afternoon, as they took a break, Captain Carter gathered everyone around. "We need to understand our enemy," he said. "Let's learn about the predators that threaten your village." He and Sarah explained the different creatures they had seen in the forests, describing their strengths and weaknesses. The Weldons listened intently, their eyes wide with curiosity. Inspired by this knowledge, the Weldons wanted to prepare even more. They decided to set up patrols to watch for predators. Captain Carter and Sarah supported this idea. They paired humans with Weldons for the patrols, allowing them to learn from each other. The Weldons quickly adapted to their new roles, using their agility to scout the area. During one of the patrols, Luna teamed up with a human named Jake. As they moved quietly through the forest, they spotted a large predator, a fierce beast with sharp claws and glowing eyes. It was hunting nearby. Luna felt a rush of fear, but quickly remembered her training. She turned to Jake, who nodded, encouraging her to stay calm. Together, they observed the creature from a distance. "Let's go back and report," Jake whispered. Luna nodded, impressed by how they could work together as a team. They hurried back to the village, excited to share what they had seen. This experience boosted Luna's confidence and made her realize how much she had learned. The training continued, becoming more challenging each week. The humans introduced obstacle courses, teaching the Weldons to think quickly and adapt to unexpected situations. They climbed ropes, jumped over logs, and crawled through narrow spaces. The Weldons began to excel, their bodies growing stronger and more agile. Captain Carter saw a change in the Weldons. They were no longer the timid beings he had first met. Now they stood tall and proud, ready to defend their home. Luna, in particular, showed great promise. She became a leader among her people, motivating them to push their limits. One evening, as the training session ended, Captain Carter gathered everyone around a campfire. "You have all come so far," he said, his voice filled with pride. "You are no longer weak, you are becoming fierce warriors." The Weldons cheered, their spirits high. As they shared stories and laughter around the fire, the bond between humans and Weldons grew stronger. They were no longer just allies, they were friends and family. Together they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With each passing day, the Weldons transformed from frightened beings into brave warriors. They were prepared to defend their home and protect each other, ready to embrace their destiny in the galaxy. Little did they know, a storm was brewing in the distance, and their training would soon be put to the ultimate test. The days turned into weeks, and the bond between the humans and the Weldons grew stronger. The Weldons had trained hard and transformed into skilled fighters. Captain Carter and First Officer Sarah were proud of their progress. They had become more confident, working as a team to protect their village. But unknown to them, a dark threat was looming on the horizon. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in brilliant shades of orange and purple, Captain Carter stood at the edge of the forest. He gazed into the distance, sensing that something was not right. The peaceful chirping of the birds was replaced by an eerie silence. "Sarah, come here," he called, his voice low and serious. Sarah joined him, her brow furrowed. "What's wrong, Captain?" she asked, looking around. Captain Carter pointed to a distant mountain range. "I feel like we're being watched. The predators have been unusually quiet lately. It worries me." Sarah nodded. "We should increase our patrols. If something is out there, we need to be ready." They decided to gather the Weldons and discuss their concerns. As the crew and Weldons gathered around the fire that night, the mood was tense. Captain Carter shared his feelings of unease. "Listen carefully," he began. "We need to be vigilant. The predators may be regrouping, and there could be a new threat we haven't seen yet." The Weldons listened intently, their eyes wide with fear but also determination. Luna stepped forward, her voice steady. "We will not back down. We are strong now. We will protect our home together." The next morning, the humans and Weldons began a new training routine focused on teamwork and strategy. They practiced defensive formations and created plans for different scenarios. The Weldons worked hard, knowing that their lives depended on their preparation. Captain Carter and Sarah felt proud as they watched their friends grow stronger. However, the tension continued to build. Days passed without any sign of danger, but Captain Carter could not shake the feeling that something was coming. One afternoon, as they were training, a loud rumble shook the ground. The Weldons looked around in panic, and the humans quickly gathered everyone together. "What was that?" one of the Weldons asked, trembling. Captain Carter took a deep breath. "Stay calm. It could be an earthquake." But deep inside, he felt a different kind of fear. They waited, listening for more sounds. Suddenly, a group of large ships appeared in the sky, blocking the sun. The Weldons gasped, their faces filled with terror. Captain Carter recognized the ships as belonging to the Zarvok Empire, a notorious group known for conquering planets and enslaving their inhabitants. "Get to the village! We need to warn everyone!" he shouted. The Weldons and humans rushed toward the village, their hearts pounding. Captain Carter and Sarah quickly formulated a plan. "We must defend the village and protect the Weldons," Sarah said, her voice strong. "We've trained for this moment. Let's show them what we can do." As the Zarvok ships descended, their dark silhouettes loomed over the village. The crew and Weldons took their positions, ready to fight for their home. The Weldons' eyes were filled with fear, but they stood shoulder to shoulder with the humans, determined to protect what they had built together. Suddenly, the ships released smaller fighters, which zoomed toward the ground. The humans and Weldons prepared to engage. "Remember your training!" Captain Carter shouted. "Stay together and focus on teamwork." As the first wave of fighters attacked, the humans used their advanced technology, while the Weldons relied on their speed and agility. Luna led her fellow Weldons, guiding them to flank the enemy. They moved like a well-oiled machine, combining their strengths. The battle raged on, and the air was filled with the sounds of shouting and explosions. The Weldons fought bravely, using their newfound skills to hold their ground. Captain Carter watched in awe as Luna and her team outmaneuvered the enemy fighters, displaying courage he had never imagined. But just when they thought they could hold the line, a massive Zarvok warship hovered overhead. It unleashed a barrage of energy blasts that shook the ground. Captain Carter knew they needed to act fast. "We must find a way to take down that warship," he yelled. Luna's eyes sparkled with determination. "We can do this! Let's work together!" She rallied her fellow Weldons, ready to face the biggest challenge of their lives. As the battle continued, they knew this was just the beginning of a fight that would change everything. Together, they would rise to meet the dark threat, united in their quest for freedom. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a crimson hue over the battlefield. The air was thick with tension and the smell of smoke. Captain Carter and his team of humans stood side by side with the Weldons, their hearts pounding as the massive Zarvok warship loomed above them. This was the moment they had been preparing for, and they could feel the weight of their mission pressing down on them. "Stay focused," Captain Carter shouted, rallying everyone. "Remember your training! We fight for our home." The Weldons nodded, their expressions fierce. Luna stood at the front, her heart racing but her spirit unbroken. She knew that they could not let fear take control. The Zarvok fighters buzzed around them like angry hornets, firing energy blasts that exploded against the ground, sending dirt and debris flying. "Take cover!" Sarah yelled, pulling a group of Weldons behind a large rock formation. The humans quickly returned fire, their weapons lighting up the darkening sky. The Weldons had trained hard, and now they put everything they learned into action. Luna and her fellow fighters worked in sync, darting between rocks and trees, using their speed to avoid the enemy fire. They moved like shadows, striking when the moment was right. Luna shouted commands, guiding her friends as they ambushed the enemy fighters. "Now! Attack!" she cried, leading her team in a coordinated strike. The Weldons launched themselves at the nearest enemy fighter, their wooden sticks now replaced with makeshift weapons crafted from sharp stones and metal scraps. They fought bravely, surprising the Zarvok soldiers with their speed and teamwork. As the battle intensified, Captain Carter spotted a group of enemy soldiers trying to flank them. "We need to stop them!" he yelled, pointing. Without hesitation, he and Sarah rushed to intercept the enemy. They fought with skill, taking down one soldier after another. The humans worked together seamlessly, covering each other and watching each other's backs. Meanwhile, Luna and her team pressed forward, taking down another Zarvok fighter. They had quickly become a formidable force, and the fear that had once filled their hearts was now replaced with fierce determination. But just as victory seemed within reach, the massive warship above unleashed a powerful energy beam, cutting through the forest and striking the ground just feet from where Luna stood. The explosion knocked her and her team off their feet. Dazed, Luna scrambled to her feet, her heart racing. "We need to find a way to bring that ship down," she shouted to her friends, gathering her strength. They regrouped behind a fallen tree, panting and bruised but still fighting. As Luna caught her breath, she looked around for Captain Carter. She spotted him coordinating the humans, his voice booming over the chaos. "We need to disable that warship's shield! Sarah, gather the best shots and cover me while I try to find a weak spot." The Weldons watched in awe as the humans quickly followed their leader's command. Luna felt a surge of pride. They were a team, working together to protect their home. "We can help!" she shouted, rallying her team. "Let's create a distraction." Luna led her friends away from the main battle, using the trees for cover. They spotted a group of Zarvok soldiers near the warship. With a fierce battle cry, they charged, catching the enemy off guard. The Weldons moved swiftly, surprising the soldiers as they fought with everything they had. As the distraction created chaos, Captain Carter and Sarah took their chance. They rushed toward the warship, dodging blasts from the remaining enemy fighters. Captain Carter found a weak point in the ship's armor and aimed his weapon, ready to strike. "Now, Sarah!" he shouted. With perfect timing, Sarah fired, and the shot hit the ship's weak point, causing sparks to fly. The warship shuddered and alarms blared throughout. "We did it!" she cheered, her eyes wide with excitement. But they knew the battle was not over. Luna and her team fought fiercely, taking down the last of the Zarvok soldiers. They quickly regrouped with the humans, breathing heavily but feeling victorious. But then the warship began to tilt ominously. The crew and Weldons stared in shock as it lost control and began to plummet toward the ground. "Get back!" Captain Carter shouted, and everyone scrambled to safety. The ship crashed into the forest, sending debris flying in all directions. The earth shook beneath their feet as they watched the colossal warship burn and collapse. Cheers erupted from the Weldons and humans alike. They had done the impossible. Together they had fought back against a powerful enemy and emerged victorious. But as they celebrated, Luna felt a pang of concern. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. "Today we showed them our strength," Captain Carter said, looking at his friends. "But we must stay alert. The Zarvok Empire will not give up easily." The Weldons nodded, knowing the fight for their home was just beginning. With their spirits high and their hearts united, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, together as one. The sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden light across the village. The air was filled with the sounds of birds singing and the smell of fresh dew on the grass. It was a new day, a day that marked a significant change for both the humans and the Weldons. After their hard-fought victory against the Zarvok Empire, hope blossomed like a flower in the morning light. Captain Carter stood at the edge of the village, watching as his team celebrated their hard-earned victory. The Weldons were filled with joy, their laughter ringing through the air. They danced around a large bonfire, their eyes shining with pride. Luna, now a true warrior in her community, felt a warmth in her heart. They had faced a great threat together and come out stronger. "Today is a day of celebration," Captain Carter called out, raising his arms to gather everyone's attention. The Weldons and humans stopped their dancing and turned to face him. "We fought for our home, and we have proven that when we stand together, we are unstoppable." The crowd erupted into cheers, their voices echoing through the valley. Luna felt a surge of pride. "We have shown the galaxy that we are not weak," she shouted. "Together, we can achieve anything." The Weldons chanted her name, their spirits high. They had transformed from fearful villagers into fierce warriors, united by their struggle and triumph. As the celebrations continued, Sarah pulled Captain Carter aside. "We need to think about what comes next," she said, her voice serious. "The Zarvok Empire will not take this defeat lightly. They will come back." Carter nodded, his brow furrowing in thought. "You're right. We must prepare for what is to come. But we also need to strengthen our alliance with the Weldons." They gathered the villagers and discussed their next steps. "We need to build defenses around the village," Captain Carter explained. "We must train more, not just to fight, but also to ensure our survival. We will work together to make our home safe." Luna stepped forward. "We want to help. We have learned so much from you. And we can share our skills too. We know the land better than anyone. Together we can create traps and strategies that will keep us safe." With a new sense of purpose, the humans and Weldons began to plan. They worked tirelessly to improve their defenses, creating barriers made of sharpened wood and stones. The Weldons used their knowledge of the forest to set traps and create lookout points. They trained together every day, honing their skills and building trust. Weeks passed, and the village transformed into a stronghold. The humans taught the Weldons how to use advanced weapons, while the Weldons taught the humans the secrets of the forest. Luna and her friends became experts in stealth and strategy. They developed a bond that went beyond friendship. They were now family. But amid their preparations, a messenger arrived. The news was alarming. The Zarvok Empire was regrouping and planning another attack. The message warned that they were coming for revenge, ready to reclaim their lost honor. Captain Carter gathered everyone in the village square. The mood was tense as they listened to the news. "We knew this day would come," he said, his voice firm. "We must be ready. We have fought and won before. We can do it again, but we must work together. No one fights alone." Luna stepped forward, her eyes shining with determination. "We will not let fear control us. We will stand and fight for our home, for each other. We are not just the weakest species. We are powerful when we unite." The crowd erupted in cheers once more, their resolve strengthened. They were no longer just a group of individuals, they were a force to be reckoned with. As they prepared for the coming battle, a sense of unity and determination filled the air. They were ready to face whatever the Zarvok Empire would throw at them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Captain Carter stood next to Luna, watching the stars appear in the night sky. "No matter what happens, we have built something special here," he said softly. "Together we can face any threat. This is just the beginning of our journey." Luna smiled, her heart filled with hope. "Yes, a new beginning for both our people. We will face the future together, stronger than ever." With that, they looked up at the stars, ready to embrace the challenges ahead. The bond they had formed would carry them through the darkness, and they knew that together they could achieve anything.